Hello, human beings. My name is Savan,
My name's Anthony.
and we're here to show you about cube roots.
So, what is a cube root?
A cube root is a number you multiply by itself 3 times to get another number, which is a cube.
So, what's a cube?
Well, the cube is the number you get when you multiply another number by itself 3 times.
So, a cube can be written as x times x times x, or x to the third. The solution to either of these expressions would be a cube. Now, a cube root can be written as x times x times x, or x to the third. Now, whereas x equals the cube root, x doesn't equal the cube in these expressions. Or, the cube root can also be expressed as the third root of a cube.
Why call it a cube? Well, you see, the cube, and cube has volume, and the volume
Formula.
equation for the cube is v equals h to e to the third, and e stands for edge. And
Does this look familiar? Well, it's because e would be a cube root and v would be a cube.
the edge of the cube is a cube root. That means the volume is the cube.
So, what about negatives? Well, unlike square roots, a cube root can be negative. Now, recall that when you're doing a square root, a negative square root is an unreal number. It's irrational. However, when you're doing cube roots, a negative number can have a cube root, such as negative 8 would have a cube root of negative 2.
Why you ask this? Well, a negative times a negative times a negative is always a negative. For example, negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 will always be negative 8. It's always negative. Negative cube roots are always negative cubes.
So, that means positive x times x times x will always be positive. So, positive 2 times positive 2 times positive 2 will always be positive 8.
This is just a little table we made for basic cube roots.
These are perfect cubes, which mean they have a perfect integer as a cube root or a cube. So, cube root of 1 has a cube of 1, because 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. Cube root of 2 has a cube of 8, since 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. So on. 3 times 3 times 3 equals 27.
4 times 4 times 4 is 64, and 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. After that, it's kind of self-explanatory.
You just keep going. That's how you find a cube, or a cube root. So, remember, for negatives, cube roots, it's simply the opposite. So, like our table, you would just take the negative number. So negative 2, the cube root of that would be negative 8. Negative 1, the cube of that would be negative 1. Negative 4, the cube of that would be negative 64. It's very simple.
Well, what is 1.5 cubed? I'm pretty sure you can't do it in your head, right? Well, you have to use a calculator. Wow. First, type the desired cube root.
So in this case, since we're finding the cube of 1.5, you hit 1.5.
Then hit the caret button, which just so happens to look like a carrot, or upside down V, and then hit the desired exponent.
So since we're finding the cube, you hit exponent of 3.
Not hard at all. You try to find the cube root? Well, no biggie. First type the exponent 3.
Since we're finding a cube root is 3.
Then hit the root button. And then type the cube you wish to find the cube root of.
Make sure you hit the root button with a variable in it, and make sure it's not just the square root button.
Now you know how to find a cube root and hard cubes and cube roots.
Especially complicated ones.
Well, this is our first teaching example. You're on your own now, kids. Well, not really. We're going to teach you it.
We got 5 cubed divided by 2 cubed. And
We want you to simplify it.
So we're going to simplify here.
5 cubed over 2 cubed is 5 times 5 times 5.
Over 2 times 2 times 2, which equals 125 over 8.
And that's your answer. Second teaching example. Jimmy is building a die for Vegas. He wants the edge to be exactly 20 millimeters long. In millimeters, what will the volume of this die be? Dices are cubed, by the way.
Well, we know that the volume equals edge cubed, and we know the edge is 20, so it's 20 cubed, which is also equal to 8,000 millimeters cubed. Since we're using volume, you have to put the cube there. So now we're going to guide you through an example. So we have the third root of negative 216, and you have to simplify it.
Well, first, we know it's
It's a
never...
negative. We know that right off the bat since it's negative 216, so the cube root also has to be negative. So let's see. Well, what's negative 5 cubed? Well, it's negative 125, so it has to be somewhere around that area. So let's try negative 6 cubed. Negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6, 36 times negative 6, negative 216. Yep, we got it.
Negative 6 is the answer, kiddos. Howdy, y'all. This is guided practice 2. Well, Billy has a cardboard box, and he knows the volume is 64 cubic feet.
So how long is the edge? Well, recall that volume equals edge squared. Edge cubed, my bad. Is that worth redoing?
No, it's not. Let's go.
Okay.
Question mark times question mark times question mark equals 64. Plug in different numbers
To find the solution. So sadly, with cube roots, there's no exact way. It's kind of like a guess and check unless you know your tables. So
1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. 3 times
none of
2
those are
times
close. Oh wait, never mind. 4 times 4 times 4. You
equals
got
64.
it. See.
4 is the answer. Good job, kids.
So now you try. Try to do this on your own. Okay. So find the volume of the cube. The edge is x to the third times 5. So let's see what you guys got. Pause. Do it. Come on. Pause the video. Do it by yourselves. Don't wait for us to go next. Okay, guys. Let's go. So the answer is x to the 9th times 125.
Got it? Good.
Next. Okay, so next example, guys. The smaller cube is placed inside the bigger cube. How much leftover space would there be?
Well, the smaller cube has an edge size of 8, and the bigger cube has an edge size of 9. Oh,
so now, your turn. Pose. In weird letters. Okay, that's enough time for you guys. So here's the answer. Well, 9 to the third is 729, and 8 to the third is 512. So you simply subtract those values, and you get 217. So 217 is our answer. So, another place you might find cubes is in the volume of a sphere, believe it or not. So, why don't we do... Well, this is the equation. V equals 4/3 times pi times r cubed. Let's do a quick example. We don't want to get too much into this because it's in another group's topic, but why not? Let's try one. So, let's say it's a sphere because, for sake of purpose, it's a sphere because I can't draw.
And the radius is 4 inches.
And we're going to leave pi as it is. Don't convert to 3.14 or anything. So let's write down the equation again. Plug in what we know, which is that the radius is 4, and then let's simply solve it. And you're going to end up with V equals 256 over 3 times pi inches cubed. So, why is this so? What possibly can a cube and a sphere have in common? By the way, it's a sphere. Again, bad drawing. Well, let's find out. Why would they both have cube roots? Let's look more into that. So let's look at what we're cubing. We're cubing the radius in the sphere and the edge in a cube. So let's look at a picture of a cube. 3 edges. The edges is there, there, and there. And this edge appears 3 times. So that explains the 3. But why isn't it just, 3 times edge? Well, let's see. So this is a sphere. Again, the radius appears 3 times. But why isn't it just 3 times r? Well, let's look at this important factor. All the edges in the cube are equal, since the cube is made up of squares, and a square means it has equal sides. And the radius in a sphere is equal, since the point from the center of the sphere and the surface will always be the same everywhere on the sphere. That's the definition of a sphere. And the definition of a circle is that the radius will be equal distance from everywhere on the middle of the circle. So, we're doing 3 times of equal length. So that means we're doing x times x times x, or x cubed. So now that's why, although very different, a cube and a sphere both have a cube. So thanks guys for watching, and we hope you know a little bit more about cube roots now.